Erika Jayne refuses to return for season 16. Bravo in total panic. Across social media, fan pages, and reality television gossip channels, one explosive claim has begun spreading with the speed of a five-alarm fire. Erika Jayne has allegedly refused to return for season 16 of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, leaving Bravo executives scrambling to save one of the network's most valuable franchises. Beverly Hills is doing what it has done for years, turning luxury into spectacle and personal conflict into primetime television. But behind the polished confessionals, the designer gowns, and the million-dollar homes, something far more serious appears to be unfolding. According to multiple reports circulating across entertainment media, Erika Jayne may not be returning for another season of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. If those reports prove accurate, the departure would mark one of the biggest turning points the franchise has seen in years. At first glance, it might sound like just another casting change. Reality television has always been built on revolving doors. New personalities arrive, familiar faces leave, and the drama continues. But longtime viewers know this situation feels different. Erika Jayne has never been just another cast member. Whether fans admired her confidence or questioned her decisions, she became one of the central figures around whom countless storylines revolved. Her glamour, her music career, her highly publicized divorce from attorney Tom Girardi, and the legal controversies that followed transformed her into one of the most talked-about personalities in the Bravo universe. So why would someone who remained at the center of attention through years of intense public scrutiny suddenly step away now? And if she does leave, what does that mean for Bravo, for the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, and for the legal battles that continue to cast a shadow over her life? Those questions are fueling intense speculation, but separating fact from rumor has become increasingly difficult. Some reports suggest the decision stems from mounting legal pressures. Others point toward growing exhaustion with the emotional toll of reality television. There are also claims that behind-the-scenes relationships within the cast have become increasingly strained. While many details remain unconfirmed, one thing is certain: the conversation surrounding Erika Jayne has moved far beyond fashion, feuds, and reunion specials. For years, Erika built an image that seemed almost untouchable. She entered the series with a larger-than-life alter ego, expensive costumes, private jets, and a lifestyle that appeared to embody Hollywood excess. The Pretty Mess brand wasn't simply a slogan, it was carefully crafted entertainment. Viewers watched elaborate performances, extravagant wardrobes, and a confidence that often appeared impossible to shake. Then everything changed. The collapse of Tom Girardi's once powerful legal empire triggered one of the most shocking scandals connected to reality television in recent memory. Court filings, bankruptcy proceedings, and allegations surrounding missing client funds suddenly became headline news across the country. Although Erika has consistently maintained that she was unaware of her former husband's alleged misconduct, her personal finances and business dealings became the subject of extraordinary public attention. Instead of disappearing from television during that period, she stayed. Week after week, cameras documented uncomfortable conversations, emotional confrontations, and relentless questions from fellow cast members. Every reunion became another opportunity for critics and supporters alike to analyze her responses. Every public appearance generated another wave of online debate. Love her or dislike her, viewers kept watching. That is precisely why reports of a possible exit have captured so much attention. According to entertainment reports, production surrounding the upcoming season has been surrounded by uncertainty, though Bravo has not officially confirmed final casting decisions. As with many reality programs, negotiations often continue behind closed doors until formal announcements are made. That means much of the discussion remains based on reporting from industry insiders rather than official network statements. Still, even the possibility of Erika stepping away has sparked an avalanche of questions. Would the franchise lose one of its biggest lightning rods for conflict? Can a show built around high-stakes personal drama reinvent itself after losing one of its most recognizable faces? Or could this actually become an opportunity for Bravo to reshape Beverly Hills for a new era? Those aren't simple questions because Erika's role extended beyond ordinary reality television storytelling. She became a symbol of a larger cultural conversation. Viewers weren't simply debating whether they liked her personality. They were arguing about accountability, wealth, privilege, public image, and whether someone connected to an unprecedented legal scandal could ever truly rebuild public trust. Every interview became evidence for one side or the other. Every courtroom update generated thousands of social media comments. Every episode invited viewers to decide for themselves whether they believed her explanations. That kind of attention is incredibly rare, even in reality television. Behind the glamorous editing, television executives understand one undeniable reality. Controversy often drives conversation, and conversation keeps audiences engaged. When a personality consistently dominates headlines, networks naturally recognize both the opportunities and the risks that come with that visibility. But controversy also comes with a cost. Years of constant public scrutiny can wear down even the most experienced public figure. Court proceedings, media coverage, social media criticism, and endless speculation create an environment where every appearance is dissected. Every word is analyzed. Every facial expression becomes another headline. Few reality stars have experienced that level of sustained attention. Adding another layer to the story are the ongoing legal matters connected to Erika. One case receiving renewed attention involves designer Christopher Sila, founder of Marco Marco. Court filings include serious allegations regarding disputed American Express charges and the events that followed. Erika has denied wrongdoing, and the litigation remains part of an ongoing legal process. Because those proceedings are still active, many of the allegations have not been proven in court, making it essential to distinguish accusations from established facts. That legal backdrop inevitably changes how audiences interpret everything else happening around her. A decision about returning to a television series no longer exists in isolation. Instead, every career move becomes intertwined with questions about legal strategy, public perception, and financial realities. Some legal analysts have suggested that limiting media exposure can sometimes reduce unnecessary complications during ongoing litigation. Others caution against assuming that any professional decision is directly tied to a specific lawsuit without clear evidence. At this stage, much remains speculative. Yet, speculation has become part of the story itself. Entertainment media thrives on unanswered questions. Fans search for clues in interviews. Social media examines every Instagram post. Entertainment blogs compare public appearances. Podcasters debate insider rumors for hours. And all of it creates an atmosphere where the line between confirmed information and online theory becomes increasingly blurred. For Bravo, this presents a unique challenge. Networks depend on compelling personalities, but they also depend on stability. A franchise as successful as The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills cannot afford prolonged uncertainty surrounding its core cast. Whether Erika ultimately returns or not, producers face important decisions about the future direction of one of television's most recognizable reality brands. If she leaves, viewers may lose one of the franchise's most polarizing figures. If she stays, the legal headlines will almost certainly continue to follow every episode. Either outcome carries significant consequences. And perhaps that's what makes this story so fascinating. It's no longer just about one reality star. It's about the collision between celebrity, television, public opinion, and the American legal system. A collision that continues to evolve in real time, with new developments capable of changing the narrative almost overnight. Because just when it appears the story has reached its final chapter, another unexpected development emerges. And what surfaced next may have shifted the conversation in a direction very few fans saw coming. The headlines may focus on one question: whether Erika Jayne is truly stepping away from the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. But the story becomes far more complicated when you look beyond the cameras. If there's one thing the last several years have proven, it's that Erika's life has been shaped by two very different realities. One exists under studio lights, where every dinner party, every reunion, and every glamorous entrance is designed for television. The other exists inside courtrooms, legal filings, and public records, where the stakes are measured not in ratings, but in millions of dollars and years of litigation. That contrast has followed Erika almost every day since the collapse of the Girardi legal empire. What once looked like an untouchable Hollywood success story gradually transformed into one of the most closely watched legal sagas involving a reality television star. Even viewers who had never watched a single episode of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills suddenly recognized her name because the headlines had expanded far beyond entertainment news. As those legal proceedings unfolded, many fans noticed something unusual. Erika didn't disappear from public view. Instead, she continued filming the series, attending reunions, performing music shows, and making promotional appearances. That decision divided audiences almost immediately. Some viewers interpreted her willingness to remain on television as evidence of resilience. They argued that retreating from the spotlight would have been viewed as an admission of guilt, something Erika has consistently denied throughout the legal controversies connected to her former husband. Others believed remaining on television kept the controversy alive, ensuring every new episode became another battleground for public opinion. That divide never really disappeared. Every season seemed to reopen old questions. Every reunion revived old arguments. Every interview produced another round of headlines. Meanwhile, the legal landscape continued changing. One of the most significant ongoing matters attracting renewed attention involves the lawsuit filed by designer Christopher Sila of Marco Marco. The complaint includes allegations related to disputed American Express charges and events that followed. Erika has denied wrongdoing, and many of the allegations remain contested in court. Because the litigation is ongoing, those claims should not be treated as established facts. They remain part of an active legal dispute that has yet to reach its final conclusion. Even without reaching a verdict, the existence of major litigation creates enormous pressure for any public figure. Court appearances demand preparation. Attorneys carefully manage public statements. Media organizations scrutinize every filing. Fans examine every interview for hidden meaning. And suddenly, something as simple as deciding whether to sign another television contract becomes infinitely more complicated. Imagine negotiating another season of reality television while simultaneously preparing for ongoing legal proceedings. Every conversation filmed by Bravo could generate online analysis within minutes. Every disagreement with another cast member could become tomorrow's entertainment headline. Every confessional interview might be compared against statements made elsewhere. That level of attention is exhausting. It's also incredibly difficult to control. Adding to the complexity is the fact that The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills has always blurred the line between entertainment and reality. Cast members are expected to share deeply personal moments, discuss relationships, reveal financial struggles, and confront uncomfortable topics on camera. Those expectations work very differently when someone's life also involves active court proceedings. Legal experts often advise clients to exercise caution with public statements during ongoing litigation. That doesn't automatically mean someone must leave a television show, but it does illustrate why every on-camera conversation carries additional weight. What seems like ordinary reality TV drama to viewers may require much more careful consideration behind the scenes. Then there's the emotional toll. Regardless of where someone stands on Erika Jayne, few would dispute that the past several years have transformed her public image. She entered RHOBH as a glamorous performer with a carefully crafted persona. Over time, that persona became overshadowed by courtroom headlines, financial questions, and constant media scrutiny. Even Erika herself has reflected publicly on how difficult it has been to watch some of her earlier seasons and how much she has changed over the years. She has spoken about questioning whether remaining on the show was worth it at times, suggesting that the experience has forced significant personal reflection. Those comments resonate differently today, because if reports about season 16 ultimately prove true, viewers may look back and see those moments not simply as emotional interviews, but as early signs that the relentless pressure had begun taking its toll. Of course, none of this answers another critical question. What happens to the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills if Erika really leaves? For nearly a decade, she has been one of the franchise's most recognizable personalities. She arrived in season 6 with an extravagant lifestyle, a successful dance music career, and a sharp, often unfiltered personality that quickly made her one of the show's defining figures. Over the years, alliances shifted, friendships collapsed, and new cast members came and went, but Erika remained a constant presence. Television history shows that long-running reality franchises often struggle when major personalities exit. Sometimes fresh faces revitalize a series. Other times, audiences feel the chemistry that made the show successful can never quite be recreated. Bravo has navigated cast shakeups before across the Real Housewives universe. Some cities have embraced dramatic reboots, while others have faced mixed reactions from loyal viewers. That history explains why every rumor surrounding casting decisions attracts so much attention long before a season even begins. And perhaps that's the biggest mystery of all. Not whether Erika Jayne can continue her career, not whether another legal headline will appear, but whether the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills can truly enter its next chapter if one of its most polarizing and recognizable stars decides that the cameras are no longer worth the cost. Because behind every casting rumor, another story is quietly unfolding, one that could determine not only Erika's future, but the future of one of Bravo's biggest franchises. As production rumors continued circulating, another battle was unfolding in plain sight, not in a Beverly Hills mansion or at a lavish cast dinner, but across entertainment websites, podcasts, YouTube channels, and thousands of social media posts. Long before Bravo makes any official announcement about future casting, the audience has already begun debating what the franchise would look like without one of its most recognizable figures. That's the fascinating thing about modern reality television. The show doesn't begin when an episode airs. In many ways, it never stops. Every interview, every Instagram story, every paparazzi photo, every court filing, and every anonymous production rumor becomes part of the ongoing narrative. Fans no longer wait for Wednesday night to discuss the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. They're analyzing it every day, and Erika Jayne has remained at the center of that conversation for years. Some viewers argue that regardless of personal opinions, she helped define an era of Beverly Hills. Her unapologetic personality, extravagant performances, and willingness to engage intense confrontations made her one of the franchise's most talked about cast members. Others believe the series has spent too much time focusing on her legal controversies, preventing newer personalities and storylines from developing naturally. Neither perspective has completely won. Instead, the audience remains deeply divided. That division may actually explain why every rumor surrounding Erika attracts so much attention. In reality television, strong opinions often matter more than universal popularity. Producers understand that viewers don't necessarily have to agree with a cast member. They simply have to keep talking about them. For nearly a decade, Erika consistently accomplished exactly that. But television executives face another challenge that viewers rarely see. Long-running reality series must constantly balance familiarity with change, keep the same cast too long, and audiences may complain the stories have become repetitive, change too much too quickly, and longtime fans may no longer recognize the show they once loved. Finding that balance has become increasingly difficult across the entire Real Housewives franchise. Over the past several years, Bravo has experimented with cast shakeups in multiple cities. Some changes have been welcomed. Others have generated criticism from viewers who felt the chemistry disappeared with departing veterans. Those experiences have demonstrated an important lesson. Replacing a high-profile cast member isn't simply about finding someone new. It's about recreating relationships, rivalries, and the unpredictable dynamics that audiences become invested in over time. That's why reports about Erika's future naturally spark broader questions about the franchise itself. If she were to leave, who becomes the show's central figure? Would long-standing alliances shift overnight? Would unresolved conflicts simply disappear? Or would entirely new rivalries emerge? No one outside production can answer those questions yet, but fans have certainly tried. Across social media, discussions reveal just how polarized the audience remains. One group believes Beverly Hills should move forward with a fresh direction, arguing that new personalities could inject fresh energy into a franchise that some critics feel has become overly focused on legal drama. Another group insists that removing one of the show's most recognizable figures could fundamentally change the series' identity. Neither side lacks passion. Scroll through comment sections, and the contrast becomes obvious. Some viewers write that they've followed Erika's journey since the beginning and want to see how the next chapter unfolds, regardless of the legal headlines. Others respond that the series should prioritize moving beyond years of courtroom-related storylines and return its focus to friendships, luxury lifestyles, and interpersonal drama. The debate has become almost as entertaining as the show itself. But behind all the speculation lies another reality that often receives less attention. Reality television may appear spontaneous, but producing a successful season requires enormous planning. Casting decisions influence filming schedules. Filming schedules affect production budgets. Production timelines determine premiere dates. Marketing campaigns depend on finalized casts. Every significant change can create a ripple effect extending far beyond what viewers eventually see on screen. That doesn't necessarily mean reports describing chaos behind the scenes are accurate. Publicly, Bravo has remained selective about discussing future casting, and negotiations often continue privately until official announcements are ready. As with any major television production, rumors frequently outpace confirmed information. Still, uncertainty alone can fuel endless speculation. Meanwhile, Erika herself has continued pursuing projects outside of the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. She has remained active with live appearances and music-related performances, demonstrating that her professional life extends beyond reality television. Those endeavors suggest that, regardless of what ultimately happens with season 16, she continues to build a career that isn't entirely dependent on Bravo. That distinction matters. For years, many viewers viewed Erika primarily through the lens of RHOBH. But long before legal headlines dominated entertainment news, she had already created the Erika Jayne performance persona, releasing dance music and performing in venues across the country. Whether audiences embraced that career or criticized it, it represented an identity separate from the television series. If the reported departure becomes official, that identity could become even more important. Public figures often face defining moments when one chapter closes and another begins. Sometimes those transitions happen by choice. Sometimes they're driven by circumstances. Sometimes they emerge from a combination of both. At this stage, only Erika and those directly involved in negotiations know exactly where things stand. For everyone else, including fans, commentators, and entertainment reporters, the story remains unfinished. And unfinished stories tend to generate the strongest curiosity. Because while discussions continue about contracts, casting decisions, and production schedules, another timeline continues moving forward at its own pace. Inside the courtroom, legal proceedings continue regardless of what happens on reality television. Outside the courtroom, public opinion continues shifting with every new report. And somewhere between those two worlds sits Erika Jayne, a performer whose life has become increasingly difficult to separate from the headlines surrounding it. Whether that connection ultimately strengthens her public image or further complicates, it remains one of the biggest unanswered questions in this entire story. Because the next chapter may not be written by television producers at all. It may be written by developments that occur far away from Hollywood cameras, developments capable of influencing not only Erika's future, but also how audiences remember one of the most controversial eras in the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills history. As the rumors continue to dominate entertainment headlines, one reality has become impossible to ignore. Whether Erika Jayne ultimately returns for another season or not, the conversation surrounding her has already grown far beyond reality television. What once began as cast drama has evolved into a broader discussion about celebrity, accountability, public image, and the extraordinary pressure that comes with living every chapter of your life in front of millions of people. For Bravo, that presents both an opportunity and a challenge. The Real Housewives franchise has always thrived on authenticity, or at least the audience's belief that they're watching genuine relationships unfold. Luxury vacations, glamorous parties, explosive arguments, emotional reconciliations, and unforgettable reunion specials have kept viewers invested for nearly 2 decades. But audiences today are different from the viewers who first discovered the franchise years ago. Modern fans don't simply watch the episodes. They investigate. They compare timelines. They read court documents. They follow social media activity. They analyze interviews. And they often know almost as much about the off-camera story as the producers themselves choose to reveal on television. That shift has fundamentally changed reality TV. In earlier seasons, viewers could only react to what aired each week. Today, the narrative begins months before production wraps. Anonymous insider reports, entertainment journalists, podcast discussions, fan accounts, and viral TikTok videos all contribute to a constantly evolving story long before Bravo releases an official trailer. By the time a new season premieres, many viewers already feel as though they know the ending. That's an incredibly difficult environment for producers to navigate. If reports surrounding Erika's future continue dominating online discussion, producers face a delicate balancing act. On one hand, audiences naturally expect transparency from reality television. On the other, ongoing legal matters require careful treatment, particularly when litigation remains unresolved. Those competing priorities rarely fit together neatly. And that's why many entertainment analysts believe Beverly Hills now stands at an important crossroads. Should the franchise continue leaning into real-world legal controversies that generate headlines beyond Bravo's audience? Or should it pivot back toward the interpersonal dynamics, friendships, rivalries, and aspirational lifestyles that originally defined the series? Reasonable people can disagree. Some viewers argue that ignoring major real-life events would make the show feel disconnected from reality. Others believe prolonged focus on legal disputes has fundamentally changed the tone of the series, making it less enjoyable than earlier seasons centered around personal relationships and lavish lifestyles. Interestingly, that debate mirrors a broader transformation happening across unscripted television. Audiences increasingly expect reality stars to address difficult issues rather than simply showcase glamorous lives. Financial struggles, divorces, lawsuits, family conflicts, and personal setbacks have become central to many successful reality programs. But there is a difference between documenting difficult moments and becoming consumed by them. That distinction may ultimately shape the future of the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Another factor often overlooked is the emotional burden placed on the cast themselves. Regardless of public opinion, filming reality television is unlike almost any other profession. Conversations intended to remain private become national entertainment. Arguments replay endlessly online. Every facial expression is analyzed frame by frame. And once an episode airs, the cast has little control over how millions of strangers interpret their lives. For someone already navigating years of intense media scrutiny, that pressure can become overwhelming. Again, no one outside Erika and Bravo knows exactly what conversations have taken place regarding season 16. Negotiations for reality television frequently remain confidential until official announcements are made, and casting decisions often change during production. That's why it's important to separate confirmed developments from speculation. Reports may describe uncertainty. Commentators may offer opinions. Fans may draw conclusions. But until official confirmations arrive, much of the discussion remains exactly that, discussion. Still, perception matters. In entertainment, public perception can become almost as influential as reality itself. A rumor repeated often enough begins shaping expectations. Those expectations influence fan reactions. Fan reactions influence media coverage. Media coverage fuels additional speculation. The cycle continues. Whether accurate or not, the story develops momentum of its own. Meanwhile, Erika continues facing the challenge of rebuilding or redefining her public image. Public figures who've experienced prolonged controversy often reach a point where every future decision carries symbolic weight. Returning to television may be interpreted as confidence by some observers. Stepping away may be interpreted as seeking privacy by others. Neither interpretation necessarily reflects the truth. Yet public figures rarely control how their choices are perceived. That has become one of the defining characteristics of modern celebrity. Perhaps that's why Erika's story continues resonating beyond Bravo's audience. It touches on larger questions many people recognize, even outside reality television. How does someone rebuild after years of public controversy? Can reputations truly recover? Do audiences allow room for reinvention? Or do first impressions and headlines follow someone forever? Those questions don't have easy answers. History offers examples pointing in every direction. Some public figures eventually restore their reputations. Others never fully escape the controversies that once defined them. Many find themselves somewhere in between. Whatever happens next, one thing seems clear. The next chapter of Erika Jayne's career will likely be judged not only by television ratings or entertainment headlines, but by how successfully she navigates the complex intersection of public perception, ongoing legal developments, and personal reinvention. And that's why the final chapter of this story may still be unwritten, because regardless of whether cameras return to follow her life next season, the decisions made in the months ahead could influence far more than one television franchise. They could shape the legacy of one of the most talked about figures in modern reality television and determine whether audiences remember Erika Jayne primarily for the glamour that introduced her to millions or for the extraordinary challenges that ultimately transformed her public story. What happens next may not arrive with a dramatic reunion episode or a surprise casting announcement. It may arrive quietly in a courtroom, through an official statement, or with a decision that changes the future of the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills in ways no one can fully predict just yet.